Hello, my name is Andy and I am the Village Idiot. I'm armed with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. I'm using that time to attempt to visit every civil parish in England. You're watching the Cumberland series, 128 parishes in what used to be Carlisle, Copeland and Allerdale in Western Cumbria. Let's dive in and see what we've got today. Welcome back to Cumberland, everybody. This is the sixth one in the run of 6 which we've done up here in this little adventure. Nikki is with me, looking like a Sherpa again. The reason for that is because we've avoided the worst of Storm Debbie while we've been up here, but today it seems like we are going to get a little bit of it. There's a bit of wind in the air. There's not much rain, but we may well be
a bit moist.
You know, someone always hates that word, don't they?
That's nice, isn't it?
That's going to annoy somebody out there. Anyway, welcome to the second. Wow, you see what I mean? It's windy. Welcome to the second of the 2 Cliftons. This is Great Clifton. Here's my disclaimer for people who may be watching me for the first time. I say things as I would in my native accent and dialect. As a result, I may not pronounce things in the same way as the locals do. Remember, I'm a visitor. It's impossible to know everything. Leave me a comment, spin me a like and bash that subscribe button. Let's get to today's parish video. Great Clifton, large cliff farm. Following on from last week's venture around Little Clifton, this week we take on its bigger brother, Great Clifton. Located some 3 miles to the east of Workington, Great Clifton was the most important mining settlement we've seen so far in Cumberland. Whereas many other villages' mines closed in the early 20th century or before, Great Clifton's association with coal lasted well into the 1970s. The commodity has been mined here since at least 1635. There were 2 pits, Lowther and William, and it's the second of those 2 which provided the main employment. As a village, Great Clifton has quite a few features to investigate. This walk includes 2 mining memorials, one of which was donated to the village by its current biggest business. There's also a shop, a school, and 3 pubs here, but only one of them is open today. One of the closed pubs used to be the favoured watering hole of many a William pit worker. Perhaps the most famous person to have graced these streets was a footballer who many fans simply know as Budgie. He mentioned the village in his autobiography, and I would imagine he wrote some good things about it. It might not be the most attractive of places in Cumbria, but we were never made to feel unwelcome. Let's walk, folks. We begin our trip around Great Clifton with a bus stop. The village is served by both the X4 and the X5, which we met in previous episodes. The bus shelters around here are decorated. If you ignore all the graffiti, depicted here is the River Derwent, which runs 1 mile north of the village before flowing into the sea. This western end of the village is greatly residential. On both flats we came to a silhouette of a soldier, which acts as a war memorial, and a George VI postbox, which was set into a wall. Partway down both flats we found an old tractor. Gone are the days of agricultural reliance here though. Like its little brother, Great Clifton was a mining settlement. A lot of the houses here were built for mine workers. Coal has been mined here since at least 1635, although it was in the 19th century when things really took off. The main pits were named William and Lowther, the latter of which had coke ovens. We're following a path here which connects the greatly residential western side of Great Clifton with the more amenity-heavy eastern side. This path runs up a shallow hill, and as you climb, you get an impression of the local relief. It's not mountainous, but it's definitely a lot more lumpy and bumpy than the previous few we've been to. In the summertime, it's possible to see the coast from here, but with the rain and the wind, it just looked a bit drab. So we've been climbing a hill by going up this footpath. Now here you can see, if you can hear me for the wind, the Derwent in the very, very far distance over there. On the other side of that is the church at Camerton. So you see we've come full circle, haven't we?
It's just the same weather.
Well, no, it is a bit windier and a bit rainier, isn't it? But we can cope with it, we're alright with it.
Yeah, no problem with that.
Let's carry on. The path brings us to the end of William Street, which is named after William Pitt. Here's the village hall. Although this looks spacious, it can only accommodate 100 guests at full capacity. Next door is a small village green. William Street features one of the 3 pubs in Great Clifton. The Queen's Head, seen here, is permanently closed though. This was the main pub which served the local pitmen, and it's believed to have opened in the early 19th century. Now we're coming into a sports and recreation area. This is a small green space opposite the Queen's Head pub, behind which is a rugby pitch. Great Clifton has a local rugby league team called the Great Clifton Lions. The building you can see behind their pitch is their clubhouse. The village allotments are next door, and opposite all of this is the old school, built in 1883, which was replaced with Derwent Vale Primary, which we'll see shortly. This is now a private residence. This playground might look pretty nondescript from afar, but this has actually got a few notable landmarks within its railings. Amongst all the swings and slides is a bench. It's a memorial to a local gardener, and even includes a fork and a trowel. Next to this, there's a mining memorial. We're in the vicinity here of the former William Pit, which closed in 1959. It was Great Clifton's most important source of employment. Open cast mining took over in the 1970s, but that too has now ceased. After passing what appears to be a block of sheltered housing immediately after the park, the road starts to dip downhill towards Derwent Vale Primary School. This opened in 1995, and it also has a nursery school too. Via a set of steps, we're into the Clifton Lodge area, a housing estate directly south of the school. It's probably reasonable to assume that this estate was built for miners. Great Clifton's most notable former resident was John Burridge, an ex-footballer nicknamed Budgie. Fans of Blackpool and Sheffield United will know him well. Born in Workington, his career as a player spanned 28 years. He's currently the goalkeeping coach at Indian Super League club Kerala Blasters. This next area focuses on Hunter Bank and Middlegate, where there's a shop and another pub. Although now closed, this is the shop, Great Clifton Stores, which also doubled as the post office. Also closed is the Market Cross Inn, a 200-year-old village local whose back room once had a full-size snooker table. It's also reputedly haunted by the ghost of an unknown lady. This is the perfect opportunity to talk about John Elliott. Based in the farm that overlooks the green, John Elliott Limited is a plant hire, agricultural and general contracting business, which was established in 1968. Now that mining has disappeared, the business is perhaps Great Clifton's biggest. Carter Garth has a second mining memorial, this coal truck, which was donated to the village by the business. It's dedicated to all those who worked at William Pit between 1861, when it was sunk, and its closure in 1959. The green area at Carter Garth, by the way, is known locally as the Pow or Pow Green. After turning around, we're back onto Middlegate via the end of the Gavels, a street that loops around into the Clifton Lodge estate. Middlegate has Great Clifton's only listed building, number 5, which is just out of shot here up the hill. Middlegate comes to an end at Main Road and forms a crossroads here with Moor Road. On this junction is the last of the 3 pubs, and this is the only one that's open. It's called the Old Gin House Inn. It dates back to the 17th century and was originally a farmstead. It's built around an original courtyard and is more of a hotel and a restaurant than a pub, if truth be known. A lot of tourists like this place because it's within easy reach of the Solway coast and the Northern Lake District. After crossing the road, we found a parish notice board. Mark off Great Clifton, folks, 6 down, 122 to go. Just beyond this is a street called DL Gardens. Remember the connection from Little Clifton? The landmarks in this area are all to do with Clifton Hall mainly, a 7-bedroom Georgian mansion which can be seen here behind its gate lodge. It's an essential part of Great Clifton's heritage, although it is in need of some restoration work. Our final area is accessed by walking through this little woodland to reach Lodge Close. There's not much to say about this area if truth be known. Lodge Close is perhaps Great Clifton's newest area in terms of housing. These new builds back onto the courtyard of the old gin. To the south and west is an area which looks like it could have potentially been a colliery spoil heap. We emerged from this estate via Abbott Wood, and all that's left is a little trot back to the start via Main Road. So we've taken shelter in the bus stop where the Great Clifton sign that you saw at the beginning of the video is located, should I say. We're all the way around the village now, and it's not been too bad. We've got a little bit wet. The shower has come across, but it's not wet as totally.
Yeah,
and we're not windswept either.
It's not going to kill us, is it?
No, not really. What do you think of Great Clifton then, Mrs?
Well, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed all of the villages that we've been to, and one thing that kind of does strike is these videos are not smell-o-vision. And I'm not saying that because it's a bad thing.
No.
I'm saying that because there was something really, really rather nice about walking around these places. A lot of property up here still uses solid fuel central heating, so coal, coke, wood, that kind of thing. And obviously I come from Yorkshire, and Yorkshire is very much a mining community. And when you're a kid, you think, well, the only place in the world that produces coal, but then I come out here and I can smell those coal fires from my childhood again.
Indeed.
And it's been a real nice trip in a way down memory lane for me.
It was the same as our Northumberland trip last year, if you remember. There was solid fuel burning there.
Yeah.
And yet that gave you the sort of memories as well, didn't it?
Yeah.
So
here it just seems to be much more so.
Yeah. There's a definite charcoaly coal type smell in the air around here. But in a way, it's a good thing. It's a piece of heritage, I suppose.
Yep.
Right, time to hit the road and head back to where we come from. And folks, that's both the Cliftons in the books, and with it our first foray into Cumbria. I hope you've enjoyed these 6 episodes. Of course, there are plenty more still to come, but it's time to move on to somewhere else. Thanks for watching, and we will be back to Cumbria very soon. Thanks for watching this video, folks. Don't forget to like this episode if you haven't already. It really makes a difference with YouTube. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and give us a share too if you've got friends who'd like it. You can find all the links to my social media accounts below, as well as my Buy Me a Coffee page where you can donate to the channel. Also, if you've enjoyed this episode, have a look at some more videos in this series. Until next time, I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.